The Waterboy Sports Show. I'm one of the hosts, Frankie. The guy over there is Kyle. As you can tell, maybe my voice is a little. I was a little under the weather this week, Kyle. How's your week?
So for me as an accountant doing year-end close, it was the busiest. Thursday and Friday were the busiest 48 hours of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened to fall on my anniversary, which was yesterday. So that was
Nice,
great. Very
nice.
stressful. Couldn't stop thinking about work at dinner and everything. So it
Mm-hmm.
was. I was glad to get through that.
What'd y'all do for your anniversary?
We just went out to dinner and then ended it on a little movie at home. Nothing too
Ooh,
crazy. We were both exhausted from work, so
little Disney Plus and Thrust, Netflix and chill.
you could say that a little peacock and cock. But
Speaking of Peacock, we got a lot to talk about Peacock later.
yeah, yeah,
Well, man, yeah, like I said, I was under the weather. Still just feeling a little congested, but the last 4 days or so of just browsing YouTube for an endless amount of time got me thinking, got me wondering about a bunch of stuff. I went down a ton of rabbit holes. I discovered the world of like reselling like vintage video games, which is kind of cool.
just that
Uh,
that sickness, that sickness clarity.
Yeah, that sickness clarity, and I meant like combined with all the medicine I was taking, and like the obligatory thing to do, like especially since like I don't know, middle school, like sleepovers and whatnot. Like you'd
Yeah,
always leave
yeah.
on like Sports Center, you'd leave on Sports Center
The
and
whole
like
thing,
on ESPN the whole time.
like when you're sick, like you just get the most clear grip on your mortality.
Yeah, and while doing that, I was watching Sports Center and ESPN and whatnot, and saw everything about like Bill Belichick and Nick Saban and all that, and then it got me thinking. Like, you watch these like sports talk shows, and some of these guys have like the most outlandish takes and opinions, and it just like I couldn't watch it. I had to change the channel. Um, that's just my opinion, but I don't know if it's always been like that or if it's just recently been like that. Um, I don't know. Has that been your experience? It makes me wonder, like, what is the future of this? Like, I don't want to be another one of those shows that just says like outlandish crap.
Yeah, I know. I feel like the whole thing about like clippability and
Yeah,
like being able to just give like a sound bite that people will just like either love you or hate you for, mostly hate you. It's kind of
yeah,
stupid. Like I feel like I don't want to talk just to get a clip out of it, and then people can like flame me on Twitter and stuff.
yeah. Exactly. And part of it is like you can't even respond to them. It's like they're just forcing their opinions down your throat, and you're just like sitting there, like, okay, I guess I'll just change the channel now. Um, which is why we do this stuff on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Like, obviously, there's a chat. We want to definitely once this community starts getting bigger and bigger, I want to hear opinions from the people in Buffalo, and I want to hear the voice from the people in Cleveland and whatnot. We've
Yeah,
all
anybody who's listening, feel free to type in chat as well, like any questions or any takes you have, because we'll respond to them for sure.
yeah. Anyway, I just got me thinking. Um, other than that, man, yeah, uh, didn't do much. Watched a lot of movies and um, had a good time. I will say the other thing too. So a little bit of story time for our listeners before we get into the sports talk. I like obviously Kyle and I both have jobs. He's an accountant, as he's said multiple times. I'm an engineer, and we both work like pretty much remotely. But I I applied for like an internal position, like promotion in within my company that these people told me to apply for. And anyway, I went through like 3 interviews for this thing. It would have like I would have done great. It would have moved me up like 3 tiers worth of positions. Um, anyway, went through all these interviews. It was around like the holidays and Christmas time, so I was like stressing out about it. Anyway, went through all these things just to find out they pretty much already had somebody like picked out. I made it through like 15 out of the candidates or something, which was pretty cool. But it was super shitty feeling after I didn't get it, and then like learning why I didn't get it, and just kind of hearing the reasonings behind that, which some people may, I like it was complete BS in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I
But
mean, I mean, the insane thing about it is that you know that they already like give you the runaround when you apply for like jobs like to
exactly,
different companies, but you
yeah,
never really think about the fact that okay, if you apply to an internal job at your company, they could do the same thing to you even though you already
exactly.
work there.
I already
It,
worked there. It's messed up. So that wasn't like around the holidays, and with all the like the time off you get for holidays and whatnot. And then I got sick and I took a few days off, and I was like, man, I've been on PTO for a little while, like sick days now. And it like, without working for that long, it makes you really like question. It's like, why am I doing that? And then I was like, damn, stumbled upon some YouTube videos where like these guys were just out golfing, right? And they're like making a living playing golf, which is like sick. And I was like I've never been jealous of not jealous, but like, damn, like I see a YouTuber and it's like, that's what I want to do. I wish I could be a YouTuber. I never really felt like that
envious,
until
envious.
envious until I saw those golfer YouTubers, and I was like, man, that is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Just be a golf YouTuber / sports show host. So maybe some golf content will come out. This is just a long parlay into hopefully getting our people to get Kyle into playing golf with me.
I
So
mean,
film it.
nobody wants to see that.
I
Like
think most people see it.
they don't want to see me hit the ball backwards basically.
You can dress up in a skimpy little top and be my cart girl. Be a little
Yeah,
beer
I mean,
girl.
I'll just be slugging down rum and cokes in the golf cart.
It's about getting drinks for the guys playing golf.
I'll always tee off, and then
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't. After I hit the first hit, like after that, I'm just done. I don't really care about where the ball goes. I'm not gonna hit it anymore.
Maybe that's the problem, is that you need to care where the ball goes.
My
Now,
dad made me take golf lessons with this with one of the golf pros in the Virgin Islands
not a bad
where
guy.
he golfs, and I just hated it because it was always on a Saturday or Sunday morning after I was like viciously hungover, and
That
I,
sounds like user error. That's your fault. Well, you know what? I love the game of golf, and what I will say is a little story time. Uh, I played, and this is what you can do: drive a little golf cart around. I actually played golf at this one tournament, and we had a golf cart like in the tournament that was following us around with a keg, and it was the coolest thing ever. But it's like one of those things that works out on paper, but doesn't necessarily pan out in real life. Like it's a great idea on paper. But in real life, it's like, I didn't think of that. And one of that was like when you drive around with a golf cart with a keg on the back, it's like super bumpy, extremely bumpy. So for about 12 holes of golf, we were just drinking foam. But yeah, and it was like, can I have some beer with my foam, please? But you drink enough foam, it'll get the job done. And then the last 5 or 6 holes, you enjoy it, have a good time. But anyway, maybe golf streams will be in our future one day, hopefully. So we can both retire and we can get Kyle out of his accounting job. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you enjoy it. I'm sure it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we have a big slate of football games today, and
so much football.
so much football.
First, we got to talk about the coaching changes though going on. Belichick obviously gone, end of an era in New England, replaced by Gerard Mayo, which was an interesting signing because, well, he was previously a Patriots linebacker in his playing career. For the past for the past 4 years, he has been the linebackers coach for the Patriots. Patriots have a decent defense, so I guess they're keeping with the defensive oriented era moving forward. But I feel like I don't know. What do you think about this?
I'm surprised. Okay, what surprised me was like how quickly they turned around and hired somebody. It was the next day, very next day.
True.
And you would have thought that maybe they would have like interviewed, I don't know, Mike Vrabel or like.
Yeah, because it's one of these legacy franchises, and it's weird because they were just so quick to hire the next guy. Not I don't have an opinion on this, but I feel like Boston fans will have it will have the opinion about the fact that he's African American.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that honestly, I don't know. Does that even like how does that even like do they care about that in New England? I don't know.
I mean, Boston fans have a historical, uh, trend of being, being known as racist. Whether or not
Mm,
that's true, is up to the fans out there. But
yeah,
I found that funny when I read it on Twitter. But
that was on Twitter. Yeah, I believe that was on Twitter. I don't think that's going to be an issue with that fan base. I hope not. But like the thing, like I said, the thing is, it wasn't anything to do with that. It was like how quickly they hired somebody. And it was an internal hire. So you have to have thought that, I mean, this has been a thing for a little while, probably that people have known about it, or at least, Mayo probably knew about it. I don't
Mhm.
know. Is Belichick's son still going to be, what was he, the offensive coordinator now over there?
I honestly don't even know. But
I wonder what's going to happen with that.
oh wait, it's right here, recommended on Google. Stephen Belichick.
Yeah.
Uh,
The guy with the
he's
crazy faces.
he's the outside linebackers coach for the Patriots.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming he's staying. It says he might be on the chopping block, but we'll see.
I think the biggest problem was the offense. If I'm Robert Kraft, don't you just like, I mean, that offense was abysmal. Don't you just get rid of everybody and just start over, just start
Maybe, I
fresh?
don't know, but Robert Kraft, he's to the point where he's got to have like the mental acuity of like of Biden at the very least.
A
Like
raisin, a grape.
yeah, basically. I recently heard a story from my friend who's a big Boston sports fan, and
Hmm.
he basically told me that apparently, did not know this, but apparently Robert Kraft got off scot free from a from
At the
like,
Sean Watson incident.
yeah, basically like a like sexual assault charge or something along the lines of that, because he was apparently getting happy ending massages at an Asian spa in Florida, but they used to get the evidence like apparently an illegal wiretap. The FBI did, so he got off. And apparently he's also best friends with rapper Meek Mill. So
That's weird.
interesting. He's an interesting guy. It's going to be interesting how they address the quarterback situation if they do it all in the draft.
Mm. And in my days and confusedness of like being sick and constantly like waking up and sleeping and all that, I woke up when they were doing the press conference with Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. To this day, I don't know if it's real or not. Again, I was sick and a lot of medicine, but I woke up and I saw that. He seemed like a pretty cool guy, Robert Kraft, when I saw him talk. He seemed really calculated with everything he said, and he had a lot of respect for Bill Belichick, and vice versa. I think this is the interesting thing. We can move on after this, but now that Bill Belichick is available, if you're like, I don't know, 20 or 25 teams maybe in the NFL, like an owner, all those guys are probably thinking, man, I have like a good team or maybe a good quarterback of the future, but I don't know if my coach can get it done. Do I want to, and I think there's maybe
Is he
20 or
is he not
25
retiring?
coaches that, no, I think he's going to keep coaching. That's what it sounded like.
Oh, damn, that's wild.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I think all these guys in the league, all these coaches are all of a sudden on the chopping block, potentially. You got to think like, man, Bill Belichick is available. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity as a franchise
Yeah,
owner.
I mean that segues into the other major coaching change in the NFL. Pete Carroll left the
Hmm.
Seahawks or got
Yeah.
fired from the Seahawks, so
That was a
maybe
little
that's a different
surprising.
team. They're a pretty defensive oriented team, so could use
Yeah.
his expertise. Of course.
Whoa, hey.
Oh,
I got you
might
sick
be
to the
sick.
microphone.
Probably. Um, Alabama, Saban is gone. Kalen
Hmm.
DeBoer from Washington is replacing him. Very interesting. Coach coming from the Pac-12, which is
I
kind
don't
of
know how I felt about that
lesser
hire.
lesser tiered G5 conference, and like I don't know how I feel about
The
that hire,
P5.
but it's good for him because obviously he took the golden opportunity where he could get it
Yeah.
after an amazing season from Washington.
Yeah, that's good
They
for
likely
him.
won't replicate that. They likely weren't going to replicate that, for the next 10, 20 years. So,
No. I mean it was I think so from the Nick Saban side of things, I think that was probably the best case scenario. I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, you're probably like punching the air right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nick Saban went on top. He didn't want it to be again like just like a Bill Belichick thing. You go out like what 3 I don't know 14 or whatever their record was.
Yeah.
He went out pretty much on top. He made it to the
Yeah.
CFP. I mean, he's 72. The guy's been there for like 17 years. You know,
Yeah.
it's time.
It's very much kind of like Coach K from Duke.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kalen DeBoer, kind of weird hire. People were expecting like, and that was a fast one too. Like very weird how fast that was.
It was.
And people were expecting kind of like Dan Lanning, or they were expecting what's his name, Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you started seeing the coaching carousel, I was like, dude, this is shaping up to potentially be like, it's gonna get juicy. You know, Pete Carroll got, I guess, fired, let go, parted ways like the same day Nick Saban, or like the day before or whatever.
Yeah, all
and I was
like
whoa,
72
Pete
hours.
Carroll at Alabama. Not that like that was gonna happen, but it makes you wonder like. Alabama probably could have gotten an NFL coach if there was an NFL coach that wanted to try their hand at college football.
And maybe Harbaugh is on the way of moving up after a good season too.
Yeah, I kind of like seeing coaches go from the NFL to college football. It makes it exciting. Yeah. I mean, also Nick Saban was a coach for 1 year in Miami before he was a coach at Alabama, so it's not unheard of. But
yeah,
I'm not saying that would have happened, that like Pete Carroll or Mike Vrabel or somebody, like obviously those guys are probably going to stay in the NFL, but it's just cool to think about potentially, with all these coaches being available.
Yeah. And then
Kalen, but
we obviously have the big slate today for Wild Card weekend and tomorrow. So today's games, the first one starts at 4:30 p.m. The Bills and Steelers game got moved to Monday for weather-related purposes, according to the New York governor. They moved it to Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Today at 4:30 Eastern time, though, we have the Browns and Texans. We have the Dolphins and Chiefs. And the Bills and Steelers on Monday. And then tomorrow we have the Packers and Cowboys and the Rams and Lions as well at 8 p.m. tomorrow. So we can do some analysis here, but I kind of want to save our picks for I want to predict the entire NFL playoff bracket today. Make a Water Boys bracket. So some analysis, obviously games to watch. We have old man Joe Flacco versus the young red hot CJ Stroud and company. Anything of note for this game that you kind of want to highlight?
Yeah. I don't know if this is right. I never would have thought about this, but apparently the Browns are technically rated the number one defense, regardless if that's, if they are the number one in every metric or not. They still have a really solid defense. I think that's going to be something to look out for with CJ Stroud going up against him. CJ Stroud doesn't have the experience of being in the playoffs, unlike Joe Flacco does. But I don't think that's going to bother him at all. I don't think CJ Stroud is going to miss a step.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think the Browns, where the difference will be is just in the general talent of the Browns, perhaps. So, I mean, the Browns are they finished 11-6. The Texans aren't used to being in the playoffs. This is a big win for their team just making it to the playoffs. I think the whole fan base is happy just getting here. I see the Browns pulling this one out, but
interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's only a 1.5. Texans are only 1.5 point dogs, so I could see this going either way. But if I had to put my money on it, I'd probably go with the Browns.
Save your picks. Save your picks.
All right.
Obviously, the big one: Dolphins and Chiefs. Apparently, being exclusively streamed on Peacock.
Yeah.
First time that's ever happened for an NFL playoff game. And this is the big one. Obviously, it's going to rely on an air raid coming from the Dolphins and the Chiefs. It's going to depend on whether or not, they're going to be able to catch a ball out there, have options outside of Travis Kelce. But that's going to be definitely the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
And other than that,
we got cocked by the Cox, dude.
Packers, Cowboys, it's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, it is. Well, first, before we go to that, both games are on NBC. It's worth noting, but only one of them. NBC clearly could have put both of the games on NBC. but they obviously wanted to put one solely on Peacock.
Yeah, I mean they
So,
own Peacock. That's
yeah, I
it's just
know.
weird why they wouldn't put it also on like the major broadcasting network. But I'm sure it's gonna spike sales up
I mean,
for subscriptions.
you got the people who are gonna sign up for this and just like totally forget about it and never look at it again. I mean, like, how
For
many
sure.
streaming services do you freaking need now? It's insane.
I have like all of them, dude.
They're
And it's
coming out of my ears. I
yeah,
actually started going through. I actually like just recently. I started going through them and just like deleting all of them. I was like, what even is this? I don't get on Paramount. I don't watch
yeah.
Paramount. What
I
is there
wish
on
I
there?
had the like basically the actual I wish wanted to make the effort to actually sit down and delete like whatever I didn't need, but I feel like I like to
It's a
have the
pain in the ass,
options. It's so annoying that Netflix is cracking down on like the sharing.
dude.
Have you seen
Oh
that?
my god, yes. That's the worst thing ever. That is the worst thing ever. And then if you do want to unsubscribe from something, you got to find that tiny ass font in some random tab,
Yeah.
and then you got to go confirm it somewhere,
Yeah.
and then you got to tell them why you're leaving. And it's like, I just don't want your crappy service. Like, I
Yeah.
just want to go back to cable. I want to know that there's other people watching the same thing that I'm watching at the same time. It's a
Yeah,
very
I mean, at
intimate
this
feeling.
point,
I miss that.
cable just like makes sense for everybody to just
Yeah.
have because like streaming services came up to beat cable, and then it's like there's too many, so you're basically paying for cable the price at the end of the day.
And you're paying for cable on top of it,
True, true,
like YouTube TV or something.
yeah. Um, so yeah, some exciting games that we have, and let's go ahead. I'll share my screen. We can go
Mhm.
ahead and do our Water Boys bracket.
Let's do it.
It's
Dude,
exciting.
The Chiefs are uh they were I think they opened up at like 7-point favorites, but it looks like they're sitting at 4.5, 5-point favorites right now, which is incredibly disrespectful to the Dolphins, especially with the way the Chiefs have been playing. I think all this depends on if Taylor Swift is in the audience or not. We all know this.
I thought we debunked that already. No.
I don't know. After having Kelsey in my fantasy football league, I'm not sold. We saw what's happened with Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo. He lost every game she was at. And
For sure.
it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
All right, so we can start off with the AFC right here. You said Browns. I disagree, and I say Texans are going to pull that out, but I don't necessarily have a huge stake in that game, so I'm okay with going Browns. I'm okay with that. That's
Dude,
fine.
when I said Jessica Simpson, it got me thinking of something I totally forgot. So
What is that what you're thinking of, buddy?
nothing crazy. I just remember. Well, I didn't remember. Somebody just told me. I don't know. Somebody just told me when I was in like my dazed and confused like week of being sick or whatever that Tony Romo made Jessica Simpson, I guess, sign like a prenup or something, but he put a he put a clause in there that if like she gained more than 15 pounds or something, like it was annulled. Like it would like they would like he'd get a divorce or something.
The Zion Williamson clause.
They called it the Porker clause.
That's
I didn't know that was a
crazy.
thing, and I looked it up. It's a true story. So
That's
when you see him on
wild.
CBS,
I kind of like him a little less for that.
yeah, I had no idea, dude. That is not the kind of guy that I thought he was. But
Yeah, no, not at all.
whatever.
Okay,
Anyway, go ahead.
Chiefs and Dolphins. What are we thinking? Me personally, I don't think the Chiefs have it this year. Of course, I know there's a situation in which Mahomes' magic comes out because it's the playoffs, because they're the Chiefs. But I am inclined to go Dolphins here. And what a tough matchup for them to pull first round to. I don't know. What do you think?
Again, it all depends if Taylor Swift is in the audience or not. I'm a big proponent in that. But so man, the Dolphins have been crumbling. It turns out they were kind of fraudulent, perhaps. They were just a little bit fraudulent.
That's fair.
I think they only have one winning game this season, or one game they've won this season against a winning team. I believe
I
that was the
mean, if
Cowboys.
that's what you're basing your opinion off of, you're not going to like when we get to the Cowboys game. But
Okay, well, they have a couple, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. I think their only win against the winning team is the Cowboys. I think that, and remember, weather's a big part of this. They're playing at Kansas City, right?
Ooh,
so
okay.
Dude, I think it was supposed to feel like negative 15 degrees or something.
Well, listen, okay. The Dolphins had an injury carousel going on the last little bit of the year just so they could get ready for the playoffs. They lost week 18. That doesn't really matter. Week 18, whatever. And then they lost the Ravens before that, I believe, wasn't it? Which is considered probably the best team in the league. So,
dude, Saturday night, it's saying it's supposed to be negative 11 degrees. You think anybody in Miami is going to, dude, Tyreek Hill is going to fall apart. He's like, his body's literally just going to crumble like that one scene in like, what was it?
Wait, no, dude. No. Tyreek Hill played for the Chiefs. He's not. He's
dude. Okay, that's a good point. But when you spend a year in Miami, we saw what happened to Tom Brady. That dude had a consistent tan. You think if Tom Brady like left the Patriots, went to the Bucks, and then was like, oh, you know what? Just kidding. I'm gonna go back to the Patriots. You think he would have been able to deal with that weather? I don't know. I'm just saying. You're in Florida weather for like a year. I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to be used to this negative 11 degree weather, or Tua, dude. I don't know. I'm going Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs, and I think weather's going to play a big part of this.
All right, I would disagree, but
I think some of those players are just going to like crumble. They're just going to weather away.
Okay.
In the snow.
Bills and Steelers. Pretty simple, huh?
Yeah, I would go Bills here. Although Mason Rudolph would be cool to watch win, but Bills have been clicking lately.
Okay, NFC wild card, Eagles and Buccaneers. Mind you, big news surrounding the Eagles right now. Apparently, I mean AJ Brown hasn't been practicing. He missed Friday practice, which is not a good sign. And then also, what happened was that he deleted all of his Eagles related content on social media. It seems like he's not going to play. That's what it seems like.
I think he was just ruled out today that he's not going to play. And apparently it's because of his knee.
I think, and my personal opinion on it is that I think that this will hurt them in the later rounds, but I think against the Buccaneers, it's not something that is going to be a deal breaker for that game, because I think they just are overall just a better team than the Buccaneers.
I could see that, and I thought about that too, that maybe it wouldn't matter for this one game. However, Baker Mayfield is having probably the best season of his career. And we know that the Eagles secondary is not, they haven't been playing well, like at all this season. I think the passing game will probably be big. Mike Evans is a monster. They're not going to be able to stop him.
I mean, the Buccaneers, dude, with Baker.
Dude, the Eagles have been falling apart, though. We know this. We know this. Baker Mayfield is having a great season. I'm going to put my money on the Buccaneers. I'm going to do it. And part of it, yeah, is because I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't care. Sue me. But
what does that matter?
Because they're NFC East rivals. Dude. You just got to factor that in.
I mean, you already know whoever comes out of this round is going to lose to the 49ers anyway. So,
okay, well then, yeah, it's gonna be Baker Mayfield losing that.
All right, be boring. Pick the higher seed.
I know they're gonna. I mean, do you really think the Eagles are gonna bounce back with all? It's not just AJ Brown's knee is injured.
I think they'll be fine against the goddamn Buccaneers, dude.
I mean, yeah, they definitely could be. The Buccaneers aren't like anything to write home about, but AJ Brown, that's trouble in the locker room. I think more than being injured. Yeah, he's probably injured, but you just go delete everything off your social media.
All right.
You don't show up to practice 2 days in a row.
All right, Lions and Rams. Lions and Rams.
This is going to be one to watch simply because of Matthew Stafford. So this was interesting. Matthew Stafford, and his wife, are extremely nice, great people, and obviously he was the Lions quarterback for forever, and they got rid of him. He went to the Rams, whatever. Apparently, there's a ban on Matthew Stafford jerseys at this Detroit game, and his wife came out and said, like, "Oh no, that sucks. Well, we have a lot of respect for Detroit, and we appreciated our time there. Basically, I want to hope that everybody has a great game and injury free." And they took the high road, and that's something you gotta. Not a good look for the Lions. I think Matthew Stafford's gonna go in there and rip their heart out as he should. I'm picking the Rams.
Picking the Rams?
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I think Jared Goff he's not it.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yeah. Cowboys and Packers. I know where you want to go here, and I'm okay with the 2.
Yeah. That's where I want to go. That's where my mind wants to take me, but my heart. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Would any of us be surprised if the Packers knock out the Cowboys here?
No, but as a betting man, I'll take the Cowboys.
Sure. As a betting man, as a Cowboys fan, I want the Cowboys to win. However, Jordan Love has been playing great, and we know that the Packers have just been like an Achilles heel for the Cowboys. And unfortunately, I would not be surprised if the Packers win this game in an upset. But I'm really hoping the Cowboys have learned from their mistakes. This extremely high pressure. I hope they can perform in a high pressure game, which they haven't been known to do.
Sure. All right. We have our divisional round set for the Waterboys bracket. Ravens and Browns. Now, mind you, okay, Isaiah Likely has been playing great at the tight end position as a go-to option for Lamar Jackson. However, they obviously have the bye, so they don't play until next week. Mark Andrews has been reactivated from injured reserve, so they're going to have a 2-headed monster out there at tight end, on top of their already great receiving core. I would pick the Ravens here. I think they're the best team in the league. Do you disagree?
No, I don't. But if we're writing a movie about this season, wouldn't it be insane to see Joe Flacco, who played for the Ravens for 10 years, to go into Baltimore
Would
and
be
just
great.
Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom style, reach into their hearts, into Lamar Jackson's heart, and just rip it out?
It would be great, but I don't see it in the cards.
I don't either. But again, if we're writing the script, if the NFL's writing the script, oh god, dude, that'd be insane. Old man Joe coming off the couch back to his old stomping grounds. But no, Lamar Jackson's insane. I think they diced up the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we were expecting that. And the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're like untouchable right now, it seems like. They're gonna have to have a major just collapse, just complete collapse. But I don't see it happening.
Absolutely. And Bills Chiefs. Now here is what my thought process is.
I want to hear this.
Let me know if you follow. So obviously, big divisional round game. I would assume Taylor Swift will be in the audience. That's Exhibit A. Exhibit B. Exhibit B is that in their last head-to-head matchup, obviously the overwhelming opinion is that Chiefs deserved to win that game if it hadn't been for Kadarius Toney's blunder, as he usually does. I think Mahomes' magic plus Taylor Swift plus they deserve to win the last head-to-head matchup makes for a Chiefs win here. What do you think?
This is going to be a slugfest, I think. This is, wherever they play, it's going to be like Arctic vortex weather.
Cold.
It's going to be just like, I'm of all the games in the playoffs, this could be the one I am most excited for. Because when you think like NFL playoff time, you think snow, you think just hard-nosed grit,
and
running
the
ball.
History of these two teams going up against each other in recent years.
Oh god, dude, this game would be sick, and I think they would be playing in Buffalo, right? So, that's a tough place to play at. The Chiefs, dude, two crazed fan bases. Who'd you pick? Did you pick the?
I picked
Bills?
The Chiefs win.
The Chiefs,
because of Taylor Swift plus Mahomes' magic plus. They should have won the last head-to-head matchup.
I'll pick the Chiefs here. At some point, you got to expect Mahomes to start the Mahomes
Lock
magic
that
come out.
in. Makes for an exciting AFC Championship.
I don't know if it's a lock. I don't know if it's a
there.
lock, but it's instead of like a lock, it's more like, let me put a little zip tie around it.
Yeah.
That's as far as I would lock it.
Okay. Now on the NFC side divisional round, we have the 49ers and the Rams. Is this even a question? Come on now. Come on.
Dude, if I'm obviously not. No. If we're just going off paper, no. Obviously, like the 49ers should win this game. But if every team if every team that was favored to win, there would be no Vegas sports betting.
Obviously, yeah.
So it's going to take a big collapse for one of these top heavy teams, the 49ers or Ravens, to make it interesting. I don't see it happening, but you never know.
Cowboys and Buccaneers, I feel like
taking the Cowboys.
The Cowboys would win here. That's just me, but
they sent the Buccaneers home last playoff season. They'll do it again here. They made Tom Brady retire, basically. They'll do it again here.
Out in the AFC for the championship round, we have the Ravens and the Chiefs as our Water Boys championship round for the AFC.
What an awesome playoffs. I wish we could make the script. Hey, NFL, let us write the script. This would be awesome. This would be sick if we see Ravens Chiefs, right?
Absolutely.
Even
that
would be great too.
That would be probably the most exciting matchup for the league in that round. I think the Ravens are untouchable, as you said, and I would just.
I would have to give it to the Ravens.
Have to give it to the Ravens.
Don't think about it.
Lamar gets his first Super Bowl. Is just my opinion on that. But Cowboys and 49ers, let me open it up here. I would expect to see, obviously, the Cowboys. There's a very high chance that they could just be the Cowboys, as usual.
I disagree here.
But
what, monkey? Let's hear it.
But I would definitely picture a Brock Purdy collapse on this on this game here.
I could too. I wouldn't picture necessarily a Brock Purdy collapse, but at some point you keep pushing the Cowboys. You got Stephen A. talking out of his ass every freaking week about the Cowboys. Like, if the Cowboys see themselves against the 49ers in the NFC Championship, yes, obviously common sense tells you to go for the 49ers. But you want to talk about a make or break for like an entire I don't know what would happen to the team if they lost this game. Like, would Mike McCarthy still be the coach? Would Dak still be the quarterback? I don't know. Would Jerry Jones isn't going anywhere, but dude, this would be probably one of the biggest games this would be the biggest game the Cowboys have had since 1996 when they played the Super Bowl. This would be the most watched game probably in decades.
Absolutely.
Just because there's so much pressure on the Cowboys here. The 49ers consistently knock off the Cowboys. And you mentioned earlier the history of the playoffs. You want to talk about history between two teams, you talk about the 49ers and Cowboys. I don't think if the Cowboys get to this point, I think they've gotten so much bad juju out of their system. I don't think they screw this up. I think they play one of the best games they've played the entire season in this matchup if they get here.
I'm also going to be taking the Cowboys here. Yeah. That's me. Ravens and Cowboys.
I mean, people are going to call us crazy for picking the Cowboys over the 49ers. I don't really care.
True.
You're
never going to please everybody.
No.
Ravens and Cowboys for the Super Bowl.
This would be awesome. I think the Ravens would take it though, but this would be sick.
I do too. That's just and the total points that we could predict scored in the NFL playoffs. Ooh,
well, we just kind of
on my bracket.
Yeah, you got to read the fine print.
I thought it was just the Super Bowl. I gotta change that.
I hope you can't. I hope it's locked in. But like, we just kind of gloss over the whole Ravens Cowboys thing. We definitely have some Cowboys listeners, and I obviously am a huge Cowboys fan. But like, do you think this is assuming the Ravens make it? If something happens, if I don't know, the Browns miraculously beat the Ravens, or like the Chiefs or the Bills knock off the Ravens, it's all of a sudden looking very, very doable for the Cowboys if they make the Super Bowl. And if the Ravens aren't in that AFC spot, you potentially have a Cowboys Super Bowl win. But if they're playing the Ravens they'd be in Vegas. I don't know. It's unlikely, but man, they would shut up all the haters, wouldn't it? If you're a Cowboys fan,
it would.
Like, won anything in 28 years. Well,
it would.
Insane. But the Ravens are really good. Lamar Jackson is really good. This would be the two best quarterbacks in the NFL playing against each other. What did you put as a point? Oh, nice. What did you put as a point total?
Fudge. Okay.
Okay. I think you can go back to it if you go back to your brackets.
I put oh shit. Okay, so we had Browns, we had Chiefs, we had Bills, we had Chiefs, we had Ravens, okay.
Oh my god.
We had Ravens, we had 49ers, we had Eagles, we had Rams, we had Cowboys, we had Cowboys,
I thought we had the Buccaneers. Wait, we had the Buccaneers.
We had Buccaneers, yeah, that's right. I put 600 points, just that kind of averages out. No, it doesn't. That's not right.
You're pretty close.
650. That's 50 points a game.
Yeah, I know. I did the same thing. I think I don't remember what I put. It's probably gonna be a little under that. So I made two of these. I made one that was like 617 and another one that was like 673 because you're probably gonna have some big scoring games. But
okay, I am downloading this as the Waterboys bracket, and I am putting that on Twitter.
Nice. This would be an awesome playoff series if this actually happened, though, huh?
Oh yeah,
if our predictions played out.
Totally. Okay, so that was our bracket, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and let's go back to the news.
Yep.
We have the NFL Top 10 draft order set, and for this, we have the number 1 pick going to the Chicago Bears, the number 2 pick going to the Washington Commanders.
Hey, first of all, let's congratulate the Carolina Panthers for getting the first pick and trading that away.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunate for them that they didn't actually end up retaining that pick, because that could have been the key to Bryce Young getting a number 1 option with Marvin Harrison Jr. out there. Now he will go to another lucky suitor. So continuing on, we have number 3, New England Patriots, number 4, Arizona Cardinals, number 5, Los Angeles Chargers, number 6, New York Giants, number 7, Tennessee Titans, number 8, Atlanta Falcons, number 9, Chicago Bears once again, and then number 10, rounding it out, with my New York Jets.
Dude, the Bears with 2 picks. I'd love to see an NFL where the Bears are competitive again, like really competitive.
And you know what? I had planned that we would do an early mock draft, but I think it is too early for that. We can just go ahead and talk about, these team needs going into the draft, key teams. We don't have to talk about, the Cardinals and all that, who really wants to see that.
The top few.
Chicago Bears, obviously, with 2 top 10 picks. I thought I had seen a report that said that Caleb Williams and his camp wanted assurances that Chicago Bears would trade their number 1 pick, which went around all over Twitter, went viral. People were just going crazy over it. However, turned out to be a troll and fake report. So, I mean, the fact that people believed it says a lot about Caleb Williams, but
I don't see Justin Fields being the quarterback next year. That's all I have to say. This is a pretty heavy draft class for quarterbacks too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he already pretty much said bye to everybody in like their last press conference or whatever. So kind of,
that's sad. I don't think it's his last year in the NFL by any means,
absolutely not. I think that he is going to find himself on a team that obviously is looking for a quarterback, but just with a different system. Some teams out there that might like more mobile quarterbacks. He's a great talent.
He is.
I'll say that. And
he's
I think,
young.
Yeah, he's definitely still young, and I think he has better days ahead of him. I hope.
Dude, it'd be crazy. The Giants obviously need a quarterback, but that'd be kind of nuts. Or the Falcons. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of places he could go to. He'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, he'll be fine. But that means that, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Caleb Williams is going to end up a Chicago Bear, I would imagine,
Uh-huh.
uh, unless he kind of pulls some messed up stuff in the meantime. But
Hey, don't put
uh,
it past him.
no, I
Don't put
wouldn't.
it past him.
I
I
wouldn't.
do you think Caleb Williams had like the most detrimental like extra year than any college quarterback as well?
I
In
mean, it should
past years.
be, but people still have him slated as the locked like number
Yeah.
one draft talent, which I don't know. Me personally, I think that's going to end up being inevitably like not a good
Mm-hmm.
like pick. Kind of like another Bryce Young situation, you could
Mm,
imagine. Like I think that you know he's not as talented as people are saying he is.
really.
Well,
I
maybe
think
not as talented, but he's not going to contribute to team success. It doesn't seem
yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
yeah, I
that
see what
much
you're
of a
saying.
team player.
Right. It's like it's gonna be the locker room thing. I'm the guy that comes to mind maybe early Baker Mayfield or like kind of Johnny Manziel ish. He's extremely talented, but yeah, I don't know. There's just been some things coming out. I don't know what's true, what's not with this guy, but mm, yeah, I.
Yeah,
And then
I,
you look at a guy like C.J. Stroud, who's like extremely soft spoken and just like looks super down to earth. Seems like a great guy.
yeah, totally.
That's the kind of intangible you want.
And then number two, the Commanders. I feel like they're also obviously looking for a quarterback. Drake May is the likely pick here from UNC, which I might have Zach Wilson PTSD, but like I feel like that type of pick is, I don't know. It's
Hey,
not for
and let's
me.
not forget
It's not my
Ron
cup of tea.
Rivera. Ron Rivera is out too, so you could see a whole top to bottom change to the Commanders.
And call me crazy, and I'm just going to come out and say it. It's always been my belief that I just don't like white quarterbacks as much. Like
Is that
seriously,
from
like
your
that's
experience as a quarterback? You couldn't throw the
uh
ball more than 20 yards in real games.
hey,
Chat, this is true.
but I can run. But I can run. That's
You can run.
that's all. That's all I
You can
got going
run.
for me. Um, and then that sets up a great New England Patriots opportunity to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
if they're smart, if they're
Yeah.
smart. Obviously, they're looking for a quarterback too. Everybody pretty much in the top
Everybody
three
needs a
here is looking
quarterback,
for a quarterback, and
but there's plenty to go around too.
maybe the Patriots are a great trade candidate for Justin Fields. Maybe
What I
so.
was
With that
saying.
that new era in town, he would
Yeah.
have a number one option in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ezekiel Elliott seemed to have a good season, and I'm sure he's returning. So
You got Mr. Mayonnaise too coming in as the coach. No
I
more Bill
like I
Belichick.
like that for them. I
I do
like this for
too.
them.
It's gonna be a bright upside for that team.
Talking about my New York Jets having the number 10 pick. Um, that would be great because we could easily get an offensive tackle at that slot. There's also been talk of Roma Dunze from Washington going there maybe as an
Mm,
option for Aaron Rodgers. Depends to see what their vision is, but I could also see Rome going over to the Chicago Bears too to be a number one option for Caleb Williams.
yeah.
So um, great, great set of draft talent in that top 10, opportunities for talent in that top 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sure closer to the draft, everyone, a mock draft will be coming out.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I'm looking through here at the other top 10 picks. You got the Chargers. Obviously, they have their quarterback that they like. They fired their head coach. They're looking for a different direction. New York Giants, they're looking for a quarterback.
I mean,
Tennessee
what do the
Titans are in
Chargers even
shambles.
need? I see
They need
in their
a
like
coach.
future maybe even a trade down opportunity here.
Potentially. I could see that, but they do need a coach, that's for sure. Dude, Bill Belichick to the Chargers. Wee, that'd be nuts. Or
We
like you
can't
said,
draft a
Harbaugh.
coach, unfortunately.
No,
So
I know. But what I'm saying is just like that team with Bill Belichick, ooh, that'd be sick. Or he could ruin Justin Herbert one way or the other. I don't know. Let's see who else. Like we said, Harbaugh. out of Michigan. That'd be cool to see. There's so many, dude. Do you remember like not necessarily an off season, but let's just say like a carousel season as like eventful as this, just between
Nah,
college and
not really, because I also feel like this hasn't been a thing like except for recent years, because like teams are so fickle about how much they want to succeed and please the
yeah,
fans, and also like people just chasing bags and stuff. We've talked about it so many times, but I feel like in the past it's always been like you've got your guy as your coach, and that's who you're going to be stuck with for basically 5 to 10 years. So
right, right. Now, I mean, I've always wondered this too. It's like, and this is the same thing for the NBA. If like you're an owner or just a fan base, it's like, what do you, if you're not competing for a Super Bowl or an NBA championship, like what do you want out of the season? Like it's great. And my example here is like the Steelers, Mike Tomlin. I don't know if that guy's like there's some crazy stat. Like I don't think he's ever gone below a 500 winning average for a season.
oh wow.
Like yeah, it's like insane. But like you want to talk about like the Steelers that have just been kind of stuck in like second gear. Like yeah, you can keep winning 8 or 9 games a season, but what does that get you? You know,
Yeah,
like you're never
yeah.
like competing for the Super Bowl really.
And yeah, and it's crazy to me because like those types of coaches never get fired, but
Mm-hmm.
coaches that like from the beginning of the season, you already know that this team's going to be one of the bottom 5 teams in the league or bottom 10 teams in the league.
And
They're
they'll stick
kind of just
around.
like their futures, like their fate is
Mm-hmm.
like already set for them, because
Yeah.
they just are in a shitty situation when it comes to the players. That's why you have the draft. Like, why do you
Right.
just kind of go to automatically firing that coach if you are in Arizona, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and like you have Kyler Murray injured for the year, are you really blaming the coach for not having a good
Yeah,
season?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
also, what type of fan base is even in Arizona? Who cares?
Rip, dude. There go Arizona listeners. Hey, by the way, which I just found out, which is pretty cool. We have like several viewers in Spain. I'm not sure if people are really in Spain really like us or they're I
Oh,
really don't know. But
shout
hey,
out to
shout
the
out to
Spaniards.
you guys.
Shout
Yeah.
out to them. We love your tapas, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The
and
sangria.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the sangria, the wine, yeah.
Of course,
Okay.
of course. The other one I was gonna say, the other coach, Mike Vrabel. What did the Titans end up finishing at? That was a kind of shocker to me that Mike Vrabel
Yeah,
got
yeah, because
fired.
he's like the hottest coaching candidate that's available right now.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
not
Probably not.
physically, coaching wise.
Yeah.
But
Hey, man.
obviously, a lot of
Don't
people
judge.
see what you're giving away when it comes to who you're firing. So it's
Right.
like the Titans. Obviously, they introduced a new quarterback this year. They're trying to retain Derrick Henry as their like
Mm-hmm.
marquee guy.
Yeah,
Like,
but he did you see that last that last sequence of the game where he was like saying goodbye to everyone and just like dapping everybody up? I
oh
think he's
yeah, that's
gone.
true. I mean, yeah, he could very well be gone. It's a new era over there. I'm not sure what type of running back talent is out there in the draft, but could definitely replace him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my point is that like Vrabel is obviously a good coach. Teams want
He
him.
is.
Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and good coaches aren't always easy to come by. So,
No.
I mean, what
With a more
gives?
talented roster, he would have done just fine. But the
What
Titans just
gives?
weren't too talented, like all around, to compete that well.
Yeah.
Um, let's see what else. I guess pretty much it for I guess what we wanted to cover for the draft. You got anything else?
No, not really. That's it for me for the NFL. Um, Obviously football is very exciting right now, but we got to talk about the NBA because trade
Mm-hmm.
deadline is fast approaching. We are 2 days from the
Wimby's
contract.
first triple double. Wimby watch. Atta boy,
Okay, we're
Wimby.
doing Wemby watch first. He got a triple
That's all I
double
gotta say. First triple double. That's one of the most efficient players I've ever seen. I think like you can consistently get a double double
for sure.
and play like 15, 20 minutes in a game.
For
It's crazy.
sure. And yeah, nothing really much else going on exciting for the Spurs. We have 2 days from now is the I guess date where people who sign some of their contracts in the summer are able to be traded now. So we're going to see a lot of activity over the next week or so. The hot names on the market. Obviously, Zach LaVine, we've talked about him many times. Let's see where he goes. Nothing new there, but Pascal Siakam is likely going to be traded because after they had traded away, who was it? OG Anunoby. Pascal Siakam seems to be the next to go. There are several teams interested in him. The main one being the Warriors, as they need they're looking for an offensive-minded, big 7-footer type guy, and he can score. So looks like that's a pretty good fit for him over in Golden State. But the big one, which I kind of didn't really expect to be the big one, is DeJounte Murray. Several teams currently in advanced talks for DeJounte Murray, including the Lakers, Knicks, Sixers, Heat, Pistons, Raptors, Spurs. So
I get the vibe. Well, I want to hear this. Were you about to say a hot take?
A hot commodity on the market is what I was going to say.
I get the vibe that he just doesn't like being like the second guard to Trae Young.
No, he definitely, the best that's brought out of him is when he's the lead ball handler.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and he is a point of attack type guy that he can get his own bucket. So he needs to go to a place where he is that lead ball handler. I think that the best options for that would be either the Lakers or the Spurs. So we can kind of break that down a little bit. Obviously, the Spurs he used to play for, and they shipped him off for a great package. Obviously, he would be going for a much lesser package right now because the Hawks just need to get off his deal, like get him off the books and get him to another team. Right. So could be highway robbery for the Spurs, who already got a great return for him and going to be getting him for less again. And the problem with this, though, that I kind of don't really like is that the Spurs are already slated for a top pick in a draft that has it's just oozing with point guard talent. So are you really going to bring in DeJounte Murray, who you traded away, to just kind of have him be on a team where he can't? First of all, he's never competed in his life, really. Like in his whole career, he's never competed. So
he hasn't. He's been on a Spurs, or he was on a Spurs team that obviously was like not going anywhere at the time. But the Spurs have like so many draft picks, like so many. Like they could build 4 teams with all their draft picks they have in the next 5-10 years or whatever. I mean, just give some of them away. I think DeJounte Murray would actually be an excellent point guard for Wemby. I think he would actually pass him the ball. I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's
everybody else in those Spurs.
That's a low bar to set, but
I know you're not wrong. But dude, like Wemby, Vassell, Murray, all of a sudden you got a little big 3 that you're cooking up there, right? Vassell balls, we all know that. Wemby balls. Murray could be an excellent point guard there, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see it. It just depends what his wants are. Yeah. Supposedly, he would want to play for either the Lakers or the Heat. That is, I believe, the latest information that we have. The Lakers are the team that are in the furthest progressed talks for him. Obviously, the big deal breaker for the Lakers is not to trade away Austin Reeves, which the Hawks probably want. Just depends about whether or not the Hawks are going to stand on business when it comes to that. So really just a matter of who's going to break on the Austin Reeves situation. Right. But other than that, it seems to be a done deal. They would probably agree to something over that.
Dude, what happened to the Lakers? As a Lakers fan, I want to hear it. I want to hear it from you. What happened?
Well, yeah.
You need a shoulder to cry on.
I mean, I'm not
11th
super
in the Western
worried.
Conference.
We are kind of around 500, and it's a tight race out there for kind of like those top bottom playoff spots, playing spots. LeBron and the Lakers players have come out and said they're standing by Darvin Ham.
Don't give me a diplomatic answer. Don't give me a little corporate diplomatic answer.
The point is, how you feel. The point is, I'm sad, but I'm not worried because I believe that we will get DeJounte Murray. That is what I think is going to happen. So I would say we just wait till after the trade deadline, and then I would be able to really define my opinion.
I see.
But
Same thing with
obviously, I
the
don't like that we're
Warriors.
losing. The Warriors
No,
suck
of
too
course.
right now.
Warriors also suck.
The Warriors are bad right now. I don't think that any trade, even for Pascal Siakam, is going to move the needle for them.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the teams that are doing well, the Jazz are rolling right now, the Pelicans are rolling right now, and the Clippers, which and we talked about in one of our first episodes, we were sort of wrong about that as of right now.
Yeah.
They had a slow start, but James Harden has been
Starting to gel.
the best, like, I mean, third piece that they could have gotten, I guess, with how their asset situation was going. So he's being a great third fiddle to Paul George and Kawhi. It just remains to be seen. Are we going to get the whole season, including the playoffs, of Paul George, Kawhi, and James Harden? My
Did we
takes.
overreact? Did we overreact on James Harden?
I mean,
To all of our
obviously we
listeners? Yeah,
overreacted. It's a long
maybe.
season.
Fine.
Like, we could definitely come back here by playoff time and see, oh, the Clippers suck now. So
They
like
also just signed Kawhi. So I feel like that
anything
was
week to week can change. Yeah, they re-signed Kawhi to an extension, so that's interesting. He's going to
that's a
stay
big
there and
morale W.
continue eating up their salary cap.
You don't
And
you don't like Kawhi, my boy?
I do not like Kawhi.
Hmm.
Not a fan of Kawhi. Never have been. Never will be. I just don't like his play style, but that's just me.
I don't like how he defaced my whole franchise, my Spurs franchise.
Yeah.
But if you're a Clippers fan and you got Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi, you gotta be pretty excited.
Yeah, definitely got to be excited. Obviously, you don't have the big man depth to compete against a team like the Nuggets with the Joker out there. So hopefully, maybe they can do something around the trade deadline or maybe in the buyout market to strengthen their big man depth. But they're looking good right now. What remains to be seen for a lot of these teams is just that, look, like, we got to wait till the end of the season to actually give our real stamp on what they're doing, because week to week anything can change. The Lakers went on a huge losing streak after winning the in-season tournament. So really, the NBA is so volatile. Anything can happen, and right now teams are doing what they're doing.
It is. Yep. And as the season progresses, we'll definitely be tracking it more. Like we said earlier, football is obviously pretty much the priority right now, just because we're just coming off the national championship in college, and we also are starting up the playoffs, which we just had the first snap happen not too long ago. The Browns, Houston Texans just started.
So let's go ahead and watch those, everybody. Everybody get on their TVs. And with that, before we close out, do you have anything else?
Another, like, a little something cool that our viewers may like is we should, since we obviously have this like podcasting platform, whatever you want to call it, maybe we could watch one of these games and almost be like the radio show of the game, or like just broadcast.
Yeah, like a simulcast type of thing.
Yeah, like a little Manning cast.
We'll do we could definitely do that. Obviously, we can't show the footage, but anybody's welcome to tune in with us and get our live reactions if we choose to do that at some point.
You'll hear two brain cells trying to work together, which would be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else other than if our viewers haven't heard our last episode, you should definitely go check it out.
Great interview.
We had Darian Starling on the show, former UTSA player. He actually played for Larry Coker in the inaugural season at UTSA, which is awesome. He also has his own YouTube channel called Darian Starling, and he's a host of the podcast Roadrunners Unfiltered. Regardless if you're a UTSA fan or not, if you're a football fan and want to hear like the inside takes and like perspective of a former player, you should definitely go check it out. We do have another very big interview lined up. We're in the works right now. Not really in the works. We're just kind of waiting for the playoffs to we're waiting for the right time. We want to cover the NFL playoffs first, and we're looking to target after the NFL playoffs to have a very, very big guest on the show. So be sure to stay tuned in to our XXX, to our YouTube whatever else.
Instagram,
Apple
TikTok,
Podcast,
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitch, everything. We're on everything.
We're on everything.
So tap in with us, follow us, get our content, and yeah, with that,
pretty much all I got.
yeah, signing off.
See ya.